Thomas Frank is already putting his mark on this Tottenham Hotspur side. Tottenham's defence is now meaner than ever, having only conceded 1 goal in 5 games, including the Champions League and the Premier League. It's very, very impressive and quite different to what Tottenham were going through last season. You know, 22 losses in the Premier League was not nice. We shipped so many goals under Ange Postecoglou, it was becoming terrible. And I know we won a Europa League under Big Ange, and he will forever be in our hearts. But today on the talkSPORT YouTube channel, I'm going to be saying how Thomas Frank has taken Ange Postecoglou's style, ripped it up, and made it even better. But before we go any further, if you are new to the talkSPORT YouTube channel and you're just discovering me now, then drop us a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also let me know in the comments down below. What do you make of Frank compared to Ange? Now, I've seen this conversation come up a few times on my beloved talkSPORT, who I work for, through different parties. I've been talking about it with former Spurs player David Bentley on the latest Inside Spurs episode. I'll put a link to that in the description down below, so you can go and watch that afterwards in full. We were basically talking about the Villarreal game, Thomas Frank's season so far, and sort of arguing and debating, you know, what the changes have been, how Tottenham have changed their style. And it made for a very interesting conversation. And also, Danny Murphy on talkSPORT this week was debating with Simon Jordan about how he thinks that Thomas Frank has fixed some of the biggest issues at Spurs. And Tottenham had a few issues, didn't they, going into this season? If you think about last year, and as I mentioned in the intro, the fact that we did win the Europa League did mask some of the glaring, obvious issues that Spurs did have. We did lose 22 games in the Premier League despite lifting that European trophy. The goals we were conceding were sloppy. The mentality of the squad was poor. You know, I remember we went 2-0 up against Brighton and lost 3-2, 3-0 down against Everton at half-time. So many poor displays. But so far this season, I've seen a bit of a change from this Tottenham side. And maybe the fact that they did win the Europa League and there are now winners in this squad is a factor which helps, you know, players like Romero who want to win trophies, want to go on and do bigger and better things. But also it means that, you know, a manager has come in the shape of Thomas Frank and thought, right, I've got this set of players, I've got this style that I want to play, and I want to change it game on game. I just love the versatility that Thomas Frank brings to this, you know, Tottenham side. And also what I really enjoy is, even though, you know, many people were calling the Villarreal game boring and lackluster and stuff like that, it was comfortable. It was a good watch. It was, you know, you know where we have to improve as a Spurs side. You know, that creativity from the Xavi Simons types, the Mohamed Kuduses, and I think it will click. So we'll start with a clip from the latest episode of Inside Spurs with myself, Majestic, and David Bentley talk about Thomas Frank's start to the season and the differences that we have noticed so far. But before we go any further, I have to make this announcement. I'm closing in on 10,000 subs on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. I think I'm now in the 40s, 40 or so subs away from hitting the massive 10K. I want to say thank you for those who have already subscribed. I am chuffed that you've joined the talkSPORT army. But if you're new around here, go down below, like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hype the video as well if you'd like, and also let me know in the comments down below. I'm thinking of doing a little bit of a giveaway for the Sonny talkSPORT YouTube channel. I'm just trying to think what could I give away? Maybe a Spurs shirt, maybe you know, some bit of Spurs memorabilia that I've collected over the years. Let me know what you would like in that sort of giveaway, and I'll have a little think and a brainstorm. But without further ado, enough of me waffling and talking about subscribers, because you're already probably subscribed after me saying this. But let's get on with the video.
I think there was a nervousness in general because, again, return to the Champions League is a step up for us as a club after even winning the Europa League. But it seemed to me that at the moment, and I think there's loads of positive to take from Frank's early start, but it was like, we were slowing it down when we didn't need to, and then rushing it in other areas, like when Kudos should have squared it to certain players. It's just at the moment you can see Frank's worked out. I think he's fixed that defence. I mean, the fact that we got another clean sheet. I mean, have we now overtaken last year's clean sheet total? I think so. And now when we look at it, it's the attack now, and this Spurs attack can score goals. Even the players we brought in can score goals. It's just that sort of creative issue. You know, we're bringing in Xavi Simons. Hopefully he will resolve that because I think he looks bright. Kudos looks good as well. I think there's just like fine little bits, and Frank's mentioned it already in his post-match. So I'm not too worried. I feel like, you just want to go into these games sometimes, win your home games, as you said, off-camera match, 1-0 win, clean sheet, and happy days, really.
I don't think it's a criticism. Yeah, it's not. I think they got the job done, but it wasn't the electric sort of Champions League evening.
No.
I think it was, but it was a great result defensively. Mate, they're so solid now, and you listen to the boy after talking about how he's got them defensively shaped as a team, and I think going forward with Kudos and Simmons, I think within the first 20 minutes they were electric. They were looking really creative.
But I just think we've got to remember as well, Thomas.
Big up, Danny.
This is Thomas Frank's first game at this level in general. He's not used to maybe. I think he even said in his pre-match that he has 2 days to prepare for this one after the West Ham game of the weekend. So he's been used to like every week with Brentford waiting for the Man City, then Chelsea, then Villa, stuff like that. Now he's going, wait, now I've got to pivot midweek, Saturday, Sunday sort of thing. But I feel like he will take, these results, even the Bournemouth result, we might see that as a positive because even though we lost, we didn't create anything and we were really, really poor. I think Frank will take more from that and go, right, this is what I need to do now. He's even said, like, we need to focus on the attack now. We need to focus on our creative play because there was a 20-minute spell in that second half where our passing was poor. We couldn't keep hold of the ball, but we kept winning it back in defensive areas. And I think that's what we have to remember. Last season, our defence was so poor, but our attack was good. It's now we've flipped on its head. Our defence is really good and we now got to try and see how we unlock that attack. But we are missing, about 60-odd goals from Kulusevski, Maddison through injury, and then Son's left as well. So there's a few issues to solve, but I think Frank's got the know-how and the staff behind him to really get there.
Yeah, I think that relationships moving forward I think it's easier to be defensive to develop relationships quicker because you can be organised, you can work within your short shape and structure. As you're a creative player, to sort of understand people's runs. So when you receive the ball, you see 4 separate options on, but sometimes that becomes sort of second nature through relationships that you understand certain runs. You can see it. I just like the way he communicates. I think if he gets it right, it'd be one of the most successful managers Spurs have had.
Yeah, and I think what I've enjoyed from the early stages is we've had moments in these early games, like West Ham, when we had that goal disallowed wrongly. The old Spurs would have gone, heads down. But then we went again. Last night, another example. You get that early goal and you think, we're going to... you're thinking, like last season under Ange, you think we're going to concede in a minute. Yeah. Comfortable watch. I mean, maybe a bit boring in stages, as you said, but it's a comfortable watch. Against City, I didn't think we were going to concede in that game. So there are those sort of like little shoots where you're like, it's all starting to come together quite early. And also what we've got to take into consideration is this squad are now winners. Like they've won something. They're hungry to win more. Romero said it. He wants to win more trophies. He's taken that leadership. They're all taking their responsibilities. They're all happy with their roles, coming in and out and moving it. The keeper could swap one week. The midfielders, the places are up for grabs.
Be upset because they're sub.
No, don't do that. They're modern. They're all right.
But I think you were saying about the environment you played in. I can see that environment building again. And you've sort of Levy's gone now. You've got a bit of a freshness. You've got Vinay's come in. There seems to be a nice bit of positivity coming.
So I think there's some interesting points raised here. The fact that I've just been so impressed with Spurs this season. And if you remove the Bournemouth game, which I believe was a blip because of the lack of creative players on the field at the time, I think that Tottenham have been one of the strongest teams from the Premier League so far this season in all competitions. I really I'm enjoying this style of football. As I say, it's more of a comfortable watch. The fact that we're not conceding goals is really, really impressive. And I like how Thomas Frank said this in his post-match, which I think was a big takeaway. He's fixed the defence, which was probably the biggest issue. As I keep saying, we conceded so many goals last year and the defence was our Achilles heel. So he had to fix that. And, keeping the likes of Mickey van der Ven fit, Romero fit is a must. And just even the fact that they're not playing that high line under Ange Postecoglou is better. They're defending a bit deeper and they're expected to, close down play in a more comfortable position in their area and box. So I like that very, very much. And also I just feel like it just the fact that maybe, Thomas Frank is talking about moving on now to maybe looking at the attack and seeing how we can, keep more possession and more creativity and score more goals. that is also really good. But also considering that we scored 3 goals against Burnley, 2 goals against Manchester City, 3 goals against West Ham, and we still got a goal against got a goal against Villarreal, even if it was an own goal. One of the worst mistakes I have ever seen, which is quite funny. So yeah, I feel like there are lots of positives to take from the season so far. Even if I mean, I've seen a few Spurs fans call up talkSPORT and moan and say there's a bit of a trend setting. I saw one fan actually debate this for Jamie O'Hara, which was very confusing.
I'm happy, mate. I think you first game Champions League 3 points.
Yeah, you're happy with the result, but the performance needs to improve, right? And you're still very much in your infancy with your new manager. Much was made of it, and rightly so. It's his debut in the Champions League. It's a big moment for him. Big moment for for everyone, his family and everyone. Then you get the result and you go away, think right. But then when you reflect on it, things could have been different. I never felt that Villarreal quite had enough to hurt Spurs. But I don't
think we had enough going the other way.
No, say again?
I don't think we had enough going the other way.
No, I was about to say that, actually. I was about to say. But the thing is, when a goal is conceded like that in games and Spurs get their nose in front, you never quite know what game we might have seen had that not happened.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
That was a great goal. Unbelievable.
Great goal from Bergvall. It was great goal.
Great goal. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's good for
goal of the season, probably for you lot.
Yeah, it's up there.
Goal of the season. But you got lucky. Xavi Simons should have got a red card, by the way, and so should have Van de Ven.
Xavi.
So you get.
Now, Van de Ven's not a red card, Jace.
No, 2 red cards you could have had tonight.
Xavi Simons should have got sent off.
Right, okay.
I
So there's one.
I agree with that.
And by the way, Van de Ven, one of the best centre-halves in the world, according to you, out of position. I tell you what, mate, that is borderline. That is right on the cusp.
No.
He's wrong side. He leans into him. So it's a free kick, right?
It's outside the box.
Right. It's outside the box, right?
Yeah.
A free kick.
Yeah.
If you're the last man and you're leaning on a player...
Yeah, but the ball's going away from
So now you're relying on where the ball... He's getting there before the keeper. He's getting there before the
He
keeper.
wasn't the last man, though, was he,
It doesn't matter last man. That's a myth.
Right.
It's a myth. It's a free kick, yellow card. That is right on the cusp of a red.
No, but it wasn't a red.
No, I'm saying,
Yellow.
but you could have had 2 reds. That's the point I'm making.
But we didn't. We had 2 yellows.
But no, but if you want to reflect on the game, that's how you reflect. Were Spurs good enough? Yeah, got over the line. Were Villarreal good enough? Probably not.
Xavi Simons got lucky. He should have got sent off.
And you get an own goal. And honestly, I'm going to agree with Joe on this one. It's about the result. Move on. Sweep this under the carpet. No one's ever going to look back over this game. First game back in the Champions League after how many years? You're going to go, God, do you remember that game against Villarreal? An absolute stonk. No, it wasn't one of them. It's 3 points, move on.
And that's the worry.
What?
I think it's been a bit of a trend this season.
Bit of a trend.
Trend?
Yeah.
What do you mean? We beat West Ham 3-0 3 days ago.
Yeah, but it's all set of pieces. All set of pieces.
Who cares?
I wouldn't be worried about a trend yet.
What are you on about? A trend?
No, there are no trends after 4 games or 5. Can't have a trend, can you? Can you have a trend off?
Mate, are you not happy with Spurs' start to the season?
Well, I am, results-wise, but performances, no.
What are you expecting?
I don't really know.
To be fair, when you took the lead the way you did, I thought you'd go on and win it convincingly. I have to be honest.
Yeah, but Villarreal are no mugs. I mean, like, are we just brushing off Villarreal here? We finished 17th last season, and people need to remember we've got a new manager coming, a new team, and we're playing a decent team.
I know, but
we're in the Champions League because of merit. They got there because of where they finished.
Well, when you go 1-0 up after 4 mins, right, and you're at home, I thought you'd go on and win it a bit more convincingly.
We won.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
But I'm also agreeing with Mace.
You're not. What you?
I think Mace is saying,
What? What?
It could have been better.
It could have been.
That's what he's saying. Don't argue with me.
Okay, but a win's a win. It's the first win. 3 points. Thank you. Move on.
Win, James. Yeah.
I just said that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I know, but you're trying. Yeah, but Mason's saying, it's a trend already this season.
I don't say trend.
Don't know what he's on about.
I've not agreed with trend. What I did say could have had 2 red cards.
All right, mates. Listen, thanks for your call, mates.
Yeah, I totally disagree with this fan. I think it's absolutely balmy what he has come out with. But the other point I wanted to make was the point around Danny Murphy's debate with Simon Jordan about fixing things and compared to Ange Postecoglou.
Tottenham, meantime, I think it was in the 4th minute, an own goal, and that was it. But it was enough to beat Villarreal 1-0. I wonder, Danny, if Thomas Frank has alighted on something that Ange could never muster, and that's pragmatism. Thomas Frank, we're speaking though. And bear in mind, actually, when you look at this, so far for them under Frank, 5 games played, 1 goal conceded, and 4 clean sheets. This is Thomas Frank as Tottenham manager.
I thought it was a big win. In any competition, it's good to get 3 points and get a good start. Happy with that. Happy with the clean sheet. Happy with the defensive side of the game. I think we were extremely good and limited Villarreal to very, very little. What I like is that our foundation is strong. Now we are 4 games in Premier League, 1 in the Champions League, and we have 4 clean sheets, which is massive. Obviously, we are building the offensive structure more and more.
So what's he doing, Danny? Is he doing what Ange couldn't do and showing that pragmatism works? Or is it just because he had a couple of key players fit, Van de Ven and Romero? Keep them fit, you'll do all right.
No, he's fixing the main problem what Tottenham had last year, which is why they finished 17th, was because they conceded so many goals and they were wide open. So he's gone in there and gone, we're going to be better defensively first and foremost, and we'll sacrifice the looking great and creativity for a little while, which is exactly what he should do. And the last 2 games, actually, against West Ham and Villarreal, they haven't created very much in open play. I mean, the West Ham game, it was set plays that really hurt West Ham first half. They should have had the goal that was disallowed. Then they scored their opener before the sending off. Tottenham was strong on long throwing, strong on corners, defending well, looking solid. The 3 he's gone with 3 in midfield who are proper midfielders, who are all athletic and able to do the work. I think it'll evolve. I think it'll evolve from an attacking perspective because they've got plenty of options to do that. But right now, he's fixed the problem of what they had. And actually, some boring wins, I'm sure Tottenham fans are happy with at the moment. But they will.
You think he's fixed the problem?
Well, he's fixing because they've had
Even this early.
4 clean sheets in 5 tells you they're well organised.
But again, you have to look at you want to compare and contrast. Look back at how they started the season last year. Look at the start of the season last year. Their first 8 games, they conceded 4 goals. They beat teams 3-0, 1-0, 4-0. And so their first Europa League game was against Karabakh. They beat them 3-0. They beat Man United 3-0. They beat Brentford 3-1. They beat Arsenal 1-0. They lost to Newcastle and they beat Everton 4-0.
Yeah,
so what are we talking about in comparing and contrasting what Thomas Frank's doing? Same situation, except the wheels came off at Ange after the Brighton game.
Yeah, and I don't see the wheels coming off just because we know his Brentford side were always well organised defensively.
Yeah.
And I think when you watch Spurs play at the moment, it's not the way Ange plays. It's not high press, gung ho. So I don't think we're going to see the wheels come off. I don't see that happening.
There's your answer, sir.
We'll see, won't we?
There's your answer.
We'll see.
From a football man.
Good. I'm just saying. If we're going to compare what Thomas Frank is doing to what Ange Postecoglou
did
in the first 4 or 5
my
games,
eyes tell me different. It's not the numbers.
Yeah, but you're using stats, maybe not your eyes, as Danny is doing.
I'm using the.
No, it's a fair point.
Yeah, of course, it's a fair point.
A fair point.
I'm using stats because stats are the beginning of a conversation, not the end of it. But I'm comparing it to the basis of what we're looking at is what Thomas Frank's first 4 or 5 games look against the fit problems that he may have fixed. You look at the first 4 or 5 games of Ange Postecoglou when they won the first 9 games or something. I
think a couple of obvious things. You've got.
I watched you do it in your phone, and you weren't wrong to do it.
Tottenham's fullbacks are playing like fullbacks. Under Ange, they played like wing. They just went.
Yeah.
You've also got the shape of the team when they haven't got the ball. They'll have a little press when they can, but then they drop into and it's not the same team you're watching.
Yeah.
So will they lose some games? Yes. Will they have some bad days at the office? Like they didn't play well at home to Bournemouth. You know, Bournemouth were brilliant on the day, and Tottenham didn't look great. But overall, you're not going to see that gung ho team all over the place where they're getting run races.
Yeah. But thank you.
I keep mentioning. I love Ange Postecoglou. I do love him. I love what he achieved for us. I love what he wore his heart on his sleeve and did what he said. He was going to win a trophy in his second season. He did that. He's now at Nottingham Forest. I do worry for them, actually, considering the style change between Nuno Espirito Santo and Ange Postecoglou. I think it is the biggest chalk and cheese change in managers I've seen in a while, in the Premier League at least. But I just feel like with Thomas Frank, it's what I was arguing from day dot when we signed him and brought him to the football club. We were going to see a change. We were going to see more pragmatism, which I prefer. We were going to see more proactivity instead of reactionary sort of football. And I just feel like we're just getting the best out of these players. I mean, Bergwall's been sensational. Papa Matasar's been good. The defence has been incredible. Vicario looks better at claiming balls. There's just a lot of positives to take from this season so far. And, you know, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I'm not getting too far ahead of myself in the sense of I think we're going to, you know, I think David Bentley, I think I've left the clip in. He thinks we could win the Premier League in a year or two if we bring back Harry Kane. So that was quite funny as well. But yeah, I find it really interesting. And I think that Tottenham should be positive, should be, you're hopeful that we can achieve a lot under Thomas Frank. I think he's the right appointment. I think he was the perfect fit, and the way he speaks, you know, so humble after this Champions League game week. I'm just really, really happy in the direction we're heading in under Thomas Frank. But just let me know in the comments down below, do you agree about Thomas Frank and the fact that he has come in and fixed a lot of the issues that we saw under Ange Postecoglou? Do you think there's any issues that you've noticed that you think he needs to fix as well as soon as possible? Let me know all your thoughts, as I say, in the comments down below. As I said earlier on in the video, leave your like, subscribe, hit the notification bell and hype the video as well. We're trying to close in on 10,000 subs, so get down below and do that. And until next time, guys, up the Spurs. See you guys for a video very soon. Bye.